Coming up in the program, the Waikato River, all aboard, why you need to wear sunglasses, and Amiga Levin is getting back into creating his music. Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Wednesday, the 4th of February. I'm Hilary Entwistle. As the ICC Cricket World Cup 2015 draws closer, Hamilton City Council will host a special workshop to inform city businesses on its Major Events Management Act obligations and what that means for city traders. The ICC Cricket World Cup 2015 has been declared a major event by the New Zealand Government, which means MEMA, the Major Event Management Act, prohibits certain commercial activities around Seddon Park, venue for 3 tournament matches in February and March. Calvin Powell, City Safe Unit Manager at Hamilton City Council, says it is important business owners and residents who live near Seddon Park understand what they can and can't do while cricket's showpiece tournament is in the city. Highs that parked over New Zealand during January and are expected to return to the country in the second week of February. The Met Service outlook for February indicates a pattern change to cooler southwesterlies to start the month. Met Service meteorologist Georgina Griffiths says daily highs are expected to remain around the 26 to 28 degree mark, with overnight flows fluctuating from 11 to 18 degrees this week. Tauranga City councillors are eyeing up the sale of land currently housing Mount Maunganui Library and Zespri to further reduce debt, but they'll need to get it past the public first. Public consultation on the 384 to 410 Mount Maunganui Road strategic land reviews now open. Tauranga City Council is looking at options for the land it owns at the site, and elected members would like to hear the community's views on the future of the site. This may include selling part or all of it and all of the land which is currently occupied by the Mount Library, Mount Plunkett Preschool and Zespri. The site also contains a park which is used by locals as well as the Little Big markets, which are held there once a month. Around $1.5 million has been set aside by Waipa District Council to kickstart a new museum for Te Ao Mutu. The museum proposal is outlined in the Council's draft 10-year plan, which will be formally released to the public for comment in early March. The draft plan outlines a range of core services projects plus a small number of community proposals, including the museum, a refurbished pool for Cambridge and a new cycleway for Te Ao Mutu to Kihikihi. Mayor Jim Milcrest says the council considered not including the museum project in its 10-year plan budget, but believes the project is important and must be given a good chance to get off the ground. Now for our weather for Thursday. Hamilton, showers and an early southwesterly change. Your expected high is 22 and an overnight low of 13. The rest of the Waikato, showers. You also have that early change to a fresh southwesterly. Paeroa, your expected high is 26 and an overnight low of 13. Matamata, 21 and 12. Te Ao Mutu, 22 and 13. Tokoroa, 20 and 12. Tauranga fine spells, a few showers developing in the morning with westerlies. Their expected high is 24 and an overnight low of 15. The rest of the bay, showers clearing in the evening, then fine spells, westerlies with 22 and 14 for Te Puke. Now for our region's marine forecast. West Coast, Raglan, becoming an early Thursday southwest 20 knots and rising. 12:04 a.m. is your high tide. East Coast Bay Plenty, westerly rising to 25 knots and the showers are clearing out there. 9:14 a.m. is your high tide in Tauranga. Still to come on Central News, why you need to wear sunglasses and the trouble with Roundup. Welcome back to Central News on TV Central. Oku whenua aku kai oku mō take tonu atu. Our farms, our food, our future is a food safety conference being held in Wellington. One of the issues they will tackle is the popular weed killer, Roundup.
The problem with Roundup is because of the way it works. It's and it's associated. I mean, you can't separate the two. It's GE. 80%, or more than 80% of GE crops are what we call Roundup ready. That means they've got the resistance to spraying from Roundup. So if you spray Roundup on these crops, the theory is that they do not have any problems, but they do. But that's the point. And then what that does, that actually changes the nature of the food as well, which they will not. They say, and a question of safety as well. There are no claims to safety in this. They say it is equivalent, essentially equivalent. But there are papers that have come out in the last 2 years which show that even that is not correct. There are much reduced values in minerals, vitamins, hormones and what have you in GE foods. The big part of, especially in an area like the Waikato, we've actually got hundreds of thousands of tons of GE soy coming in from Argentina, basically, and there are figures coming out that the increase in that has been in the last 2 decades has gone up is over 800%, from 5,000 tons to 80. Oh, sorry, I mean those are USA figures. In the USA since 1992, 2010, they have gone up from 5,000 tons to 82,000 tons of glyphosate or Roundup ready. I call them glyphosate-based herbicides on there.
So basically, these crops that have been engineered to be resilient to Roundup. But it's the problem with the engineering of these crops, isn't it?
Yeah, there are too. I mean, one of the things we're talking about soy, strictly to with the genetic engineering side of things, is that with one of the things that was passed into this country is not a crop. We don't grow crops, but in the food is that there was an increase in 25% in the lectin, which is a protein, allergenic protein, and another allergenic, two very strong allergy producing these, and there was no when I raised that with them, they just poo-pooed that. A 25 and a 35% increase doesn't matter, but there are a lot of other things that happen in there. These things are not the same. Those proteins, there's no work being done on that I know of, but they may not be exactly the same. So they are different proteins. And when you get different proteins in the body's response to them, because they've never come across them before, you get these allergic responses. And we get on to the celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome. Although the irritable bowel syndrome basically is at the base of all these other ones, because what happens from the Roundup side of things is that Roundup is an antibiotic, and it's got had a patent in 2011, and it is selective. It doesn't kill everything. Some are killed, and the good ones are the Lactobacillus enterococci, some other ones, especially the lactobacillus things, which come into a lot of things. But also in doing that, they stimulate the formation of a protein which destroys the cell lining, the junction in the cell lining. So that allows stuff to be absorbed, which is not in a normal gut, is not absorbed. And if you get foreign proteins on top of that, you get all these autoimmune diseases that we're getting now.
If you'd like to find out more about the conference, you can email us at news@tvcentral.co.nz and we can put you in touch with Frank. In our next story, we look at sunglasses. When we think of sunglasses, we think of a fashion accessory, as made famous by Jackie O or Audrey Hepburn. But they are so much more than that. Latest research has shown that it's crucial to have quality UV blocking sunglasses. Anne-Marie spoke with Adrian Patterson from Patterson Burn Optometrists to find out why.
These days there's even more need to wear than it was previously, with things like ozone layers and so forth thinning out, more UV is getting through. People are living longer, so UV damage is cumulative, and so the longer we live, the more UV we'll be exposed to, and the side effects of that are showing up as people needing to take the appropriate protection earlier on in their lives to prevent it.
What does UV damage do to our eyes?
Various things. Cataracts is probably the biggest one, the one that we know is caused by, is accentuated by UV, but macular degeneration is thought to have a UV is significant. And then things on the front of the eye, like pterygiums, which are little growths on the corner of the eye, that can be a UV induced. So those are probably the main ones.
When we're looking to buy a pair of sunglasses, what should we be looking for in particular? Should they be a particular style? Should they have a particular lens?
Yeah, it depends a lot on what you do. People who, like farmers and builders, fishermen, people who work outdoors most of the time, it's obviously their danger with UV is a lot more than for those of us that work indoors. So if you're in one of those occupations, probably looking at a frame that's wrapped round, because some of the UV damage comes from the side as well as directly through the front. So a good fitting wrapped round pair of sunglasses is a good idea. And then the lenses are pretty important, and you need to, most of the sunglasses, if that pass the New Zealand standards for UV protection, will have a little label on them saying that. So that's what you should look for.
So how do we know the lenses are UV blocking? Because of this label?
Because of the label, yes.
What if people are already noticing deterioration in their eyesight? Is it too late? Has the damage been done and it's all downhill from here?
I don't think you'd notice things that, except for the little growths on the front of your eye, you wouldn't be aware that it was UV caused. It could just be aging, or just that your vision is deteriorating for another reason. Or cataracts can be caused by other things, just generally by aging. So you wouldn't know it was sun damage, but they may cause deterioration of vision, which would cause you to take action.
Never too late for a good pair of sunglasses?
No, never too late. But on the other hand, I think children wearing sunglasses is very important. They're outdoors a lot, and their eyes are particularly sensitive to UV. I think you can go overboard with that, and we all need some UV. But I think that when little kids, any age kids, are outside for any extended time, then wearing sunglasses is recommended.
What age should we be considering for the children to wear sunglasses?
Well, if they're outdoors a lot, from an age in which you can keep them on, I think that's the biggest challenge for little wee kids is, they pull them off very easily. So, but from any age that you can keep them on, it's important.
Does a designer label and price automatically mean UV blocking sunglasses?
No, it doesn't. You've got to look for the label again. And this labelling is voluntary, it's not compulsory, so it doesn't mean that they're not good. Also, because they haven't got a label on, they may have chosen not to go through the process.
Coming up next, we take a ride on the Waikato River. Welcome back to Central News. Anne-Marie spent an idyllic morning aboard the Waikato River Explorer last week to find out more about this endeavour, which is quickly becoming a Waikato River icon. Managing Director Darren Mills explained about the different cruise options people have to choose from.
We run Thursday to Sunday all year round. We run cruises at 12:30, our lunch cruise, and then 2:30, and that's Thursday to Sunday. And over the daylight saving months, we run extra cruises on the weekend, one at 10:30 and one at 4:30. On all our cruises, you can come on for a scenic cruise, either upstream or downstream. Our upstream trips are the 2:30 Saturday and Sunday and the 4:30. And if you hop on at 2:30, for example, you can head up to Mystery Creek. You can hop off and go to the wineries and come back on our 5:30 departure from Mystery Creek. So it's a 4-hour experience. And you can also hop off to the restaurant up here at Mystery Creek, which is Angus Road Eatery. And we offer that on our 10:30 and 4:30 runs as well on the weekends over summer.
You also run charter cruises?
Anytime during the week, we're available for charter. Most of our charters are either just a 2-hour run through the city with a barbecue, either lunch or dinner. And 2 hours from Hamilton Gardens will get you down to St Andrews Golf Course, which is a lovely trip, especially on a day like today. And our other popular trip is the winery trips. So that's a 4-hour experience. An hour upstream through waterfalls, native bush, a bit of wine tasting, some nibbles on the way up, and or dinner if the case may be, and then and return a couple of hours later.
You've been operating the Waikato River Explorer since 2012. This year could be the year of a new boat. Tell me about that.
Well, yes, it was always our intention to develop the business model, if you like, and it was our plan to have 2 70-seater boats running in opposite directions, basically. But we had to have the business to support that, and as anyone that's started a business will know, after year 2 you start to get a voice, if you like. More people know what you're doing, and we've had incredible support from Hamilton Gardens, obviously, who are our main ticket agents, and Mystery Creek, of course, as well. And the time is now. We're getting a lot of interest from overseas tour groups, in particular the Chinese groups, and the tour companies that operate the tours out of the cruise ships. And Hamilton's becoming more of a destination for people because it's right in the centre of everywhere. You can go to Hobbiton in 40 minutes, you can go to Waitomo in 40 minutes, or the beach. You know, you get West Coast Beach 40 minutes away, and East Coast Beach an hour away, and Rotorua is just down the road. So it's becoming popular. So the business case is there to support a new vessel. So we're in the moment just designing up vessel number 2.
Your base is at Mystery Creek, but you've linked in with Hamilton Gardens as well, which are fantastic tourist and event centres. Has this link with tourist centres, rather than just relying on locals, helped you have steady growth and stay afloat?
Definitely. If you're running a business like this all through the year, your group charter business is definitely what you aim to be solid at, because it's a booking, it's a good value booking as a business, and you get a good bar out of it. Okay, so that's kind of where you aim for, and the scenic cruises that you run for mum, dad, and the kids are really your shop window, if you like. We get so many people. So, for example, one of the rules that we had when we first started the business: if one person turns up, we'll run a cruise, because we want to be regular. We want people to see the boat out there. And the cruises with the smallest amount of people on them are the ones we get the most charter bookings out of, which is interesting. People see us on the side of the river and they go, "Wow, okay, great! It'd be a great venue for my 50th." What do you do? And that's kind of where it leads on from there.
For more information, go to waikatoexplorer.co.nz or visit their Facebook page. And our last story for this evening, Omega Levin is a big name in the Christian music scene, and after taking a couple years off, has recently got back into making music. I caught up with him at Festival One to find out how he's finding getting back into the game.
I think when you're out of the music scene, it's hard in the perspective of, like, you don't know what's current and what's happening at the moment, but at the same time it's good because you get to really build up what you want to do as a musician and what music you want to make. And I think it's a kind of like a catch-22. So it's been fun having that break, but at the same time, you've been itching to get back into it. So yeah, I'm here now, so it's a cool start.
So what's the inspiration for the new stuff?
Definitely, I think for me, because obviously I'm a believer and I'm a Christian, I think sometimes churches and Christianity sugarcoat bad stuff that happens in people's lives, and I feel that as a musician and as a songwriter, I really want to push that, and I really want people to actually think about, you know, Christianity and what it means to me and my family, and the experiences, good experiences I've had as a Christian and bad as well. And I think, yeah, it's a scary place to be able to sing and play music like that, but it's kind of good because it gets people thinking about, you know, their religion or their beliefs and stuff.
So what are the bad things?
What are the bad things? Oh man, there's plenty. I think Ricky knows some of the bad things, but no, I think, yeah, things like talking about like sex before marriage and like all those things like drinking, drugs, and all of that stuff. And I think, yeah, I think in your life you go through these experiences and you feel like, yeah, you feel kind of bad as a Christian, you know. And I think there is grace and there is hope and stuff for those people as well. So I feel there's a moment in your life that you're like, oh, you know, you're going through some bad stuff and things that you shouldn't have done, but you know, now you're like pull through it, and and I think it's kind of different as well. Like I've got a kid now, and you know, everything that I've done like bad in my life, like I feel like, oh man, I hope this kid doesn't do the same thing. So you kind of try to teach them like good morals and good things in their life as well. So yeah.
I mean, those are subjects that, you're right, lots of people do sugarcoat them, brush them over. Do you feel like people should address them more then?
I think the church needs to address it, and that's why I love these artists. His name is Lecrae and Andy Mineo, the hip hop artists. But I really love the fact that they're just really true and honest about who they are and experiences that they've had in their past. You know, Lecrae, this big, like he's 6'7" or something, and like he talks about being raped as a kid. You know, and I think, yeah, churches need to be a place of like hospitals, you know, where people get healed and people, you know, find hope and stuff. And it shouldn't be a place where, you know, people are pointing fingers at you, you know. So that's how I feel, and yeah, I think the churches need to be more open to that.
So do you hope that when people listen to your music, they're going to feel like they can open up and can be inspired by it in that way?
Yeah, I really hope that, and I hope that people will, take what, I've experienced.
That is Central News for today. If you'd like to make contact with us, you can via our Facebook page, centralnews.tv, or email us, news@tvcentral.co.nz. Join me again tomorrow night for more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.